7:43 a.m., a Tuesday. Traffic lights still cycling green to yellow to red, coffee still brewing in empty kitchens, phones still buzzing with notifications nobody will ever read. And then, nothing. In an instant, every single human being on Earth is gone. Not dead, not destroyed, just gone. No explanation, no warning. 8 billion people vanished. The cars keep running, the power stays on, the world keeps spinning. But for the first time in over 300,000 years, Earth has no humans. So what happens next? Not in movies, not in theory. Based on real science, what actually happens to the animals, the cities, the planet, hour by hour. Within the first hour, the animals notice. Not all of them, not immediately, but the ones closest to us feel it first. Dogs across the world sit by doors, waiting for owners who will never walk through. Cats pace empty apartments. Livestock stand at feeding stations, confused. These animals have built their entire daily rhythm around human behavior. Feeding times, walking schedules, the sound of a car in the driveway. And right now, all of those cues have simply stopped. Meanwhile, in the wild, something else is happening. Birds go quiet for a moment. Not from fear. Something has shifted in the background noise of the world. The constant low hum of human activity. Engines, machines, electrical grids. That background frequency that wild animals have been tuning out for decades, it's gone. For the first time in their lives, total silence. 6 hours in, the machines start to struggle. Nuclear and coal power plants are designed to run automatically for short periods, but they need human monitoring. Without it, automated safety systems begin triggering shutdowns across the grid. Within 6 hours, large portions of the world's power grid begin going dark, city by city, region by region. And when the power goes, something remarkable happens almost immediately. Light pollution disappears. For the first time in over a century, animals in and around cities can see a completely dark sky. Nocturnal animals, owls, bats, foxes, emerge earlier and more confidently than they ever have. In the ocean, bioluminescent creatures light up coastlines with no competing artificial glow. The darkness that humans spent 150 years eliminating returns in 6 hours. By the end of the first day, the boldest animals are already exploring. Deer walk down highway medians, places they'd never approach with traffic. Urban foxes move deeper into city centers. In coastal cities, seals and sea lions begin hauling out onto empty docks and piers. Research from COVID-19 lockdowns, when human activity suddenly dropped, showed us exactly this pattern. Within days of reduced human presence, wildlife moved into spaces they had been avoiding for years. Mountain lions were photographed on empty San Francisco streets. Dolphins appeared in Venice's suddenly clear canals. Wild boars roamed Barcelona. Now imagine that, but permanent, and global, and immediate. On day one, pets face their first real crisis. Dogs confined in apartments can't get out. The ones lucky enough to be outside begin forming loose groups. Not yet packs, but moving together out of confusion and need. Livestock in fenced areas still have water for now, but the feed systems that required human operation have stopped. The clock is ticking. 1 week in, the pet crisis reaches its peak. Dogs that were trapped in homes have either escaped through broken windows or haven't. The ones that escaped are now forming actual social groups. Instincts that were suppressed for thousands of years of domestication beginning to resurface. They're not feral yet, but they're learning. Horses and cattle that broke through fences begin spreading into suburban and rural areas. And something incredible is happening underground. Without human foot traffic, vibration, and noise, burrowing animals like moles, groundhogs, and prairie dogs are expanding their tunnels dramatically. They've never had this level of undisturbed earth before. Meanwhile, in the oceans, fish populations are already beginning to recover. Commercial fishing vessels sit empty and drifting. No trawling nets, no factory ships. The ocean is already healing. 1 month in, you can see it happening. Plants are relentless. Without maintenance, grass begins breaking through sidewalk cracks. Vines start climbing building walls. Trees that were kept pruned begin growing in every direction. In temperate climates, some areas of abandoned suburbs already look noticeably wilder. Rivers and waterways begin clearing. Without active human management, the natural filtration systems of wetlands, sediment, and microbial activity slowly begin reasserting themselves. Wolves, where they still exist, are already ranging further than they have in decades. Coyotes push into urban cores. In Africa, elephants that had been confined to protected reserves begin crossing into old migration corridors that have been blocked for generations. They seem to know. 1 year. The changes are now visible from the sky. Vegetation has pushed through almost every surface in warm, wet climates. Tropical cities, places like Bangkok, Lagos, Miami, are already being consumed by fast-growing plant life. Air quality has improved dramatically. No cars, no factories, no agricultural burning. Within months, atmospheric CO2 levels begin showing measurable decline. Whale populations, free from shipping noise, sonar interference, and accidental strikes, communicate over greater distances than they have in perhaps a century. Bird populations begin recovering. Migratory species that died in massive numbers from window strikes and light pollution are coming back. And on land, predator-prey dynamics are recalibrating. Without humans suppressing apex predators, wolves, big cats, bears, ecosystems are slowly finding a new balance. 100 years. Most surface traces of human civilization are still visible. Concrete and steel last centuries. But they're being consumed. Forests have reclaimed much of what was farmland. Some species that were on the brink of extinction have stabilized. Ocean ecosystems, given a full century without industrial fishing pressure, have largely recovered. The animals that were domesticated, dogs and cats especially, have split into 2 populations. Some became fully feral. True wild animals again, filling ecological niches. Others didn't survive the transition. But here's the part that stays with you. The crows are still here, and researchers who studied animal cognition tell us that crows can pass information across generations. So somewhere, in the memory of crow communities that lived near cities, there might still be a behavioral echo, a wariness around certain shapes, certain structures, a learned response to something that no longer exists, a memory of us. So, what happens when humans disappear? The honest answer is, the planet recovers. Not immediately, not painlessly. There's a transition, there's chaos, there's loss. For the animals closest to us especially. But given time, Earth doesn't need us. It never did. What's strange is, every other species on this planet has been here longer than we have. The crows, the elephants, the whales, the wolves. They were here before us. And based on everything the science tells us, they'd be here long after. The real question isn't what happens to animals when humans disappear. The real question is, what does it say about us? That the world does better without us? Or does it say something else entirely? That maybe the most important thing we could do isn't disappear, but learn to live here the way every other species already does, like we belong.